Les Misérables by Victor Hugo. Part 1, Fantine. Book 1, An Upright Man. Chapter 8, A Philosopher in His Cups. The senator of whom mention has already been made was a determined man who had pursued his career with single-mindedness that ignored such hindrances as conscience, good faith, justice, and duty, achieving his ends without ever deviating from the path of his own interests. He was a former public attorney mellowed by success, a man without malice, prepared at any time to do what he could for his sons and sons-in-law, his relatives, and even his friends, having wisely elected to take the easy way through life and profit by every chance that offered. To do otherwise would have seemed to him absurd. He was intelligent and sufficiently well educated to consider himself a disciple of Epicurus, although he probably owed more to such lesser writers as Pigeau Lebrun. He laughed as readily and amiably at the eternal truths as the eccentricities of our excellent bishop, sometimes in the presence of the bishop himself. It happened that on the occasion of some semi-official ceremony, this senator, the Comte, and Monsignor Muriel dined with the prefect. Over the dessert, the senator, somewhat flushed with wine but still urbane, exclaimed, "Let us talk, Monsignor. It is hard for a senator and a bishop to look each other in the eye without winking. We are both oracles. I will confess to you that I have my own philosophy." "And rightly so," said the bishop. "A man's philosophy is the bed he lies on. Yours, Monsieur le Comte, is a bed of purple. But let us talk like plain men. Plain devils, if you would rather. I will say at once that I do not regard writers such as the Marquis d'Argens, Pyrrho, Hobbes, and Monsieur Naigeon as charlatans. I have a row of philosophers on my shelves in gilt-edged editions." "Like yourself, Monsieur le Comte," the senator continued. "I detest Diderot. He is an ideologue, a demagogue, and a revolutionary who in his heart believes in God. He's more bigoted than Voltaire. Voltaire made fun of Needham's attempt to reconcile the theory of spontaneous generation with the concept of God the Creator, and Voltaire was wrong, because Needham's eels prove that God is unnecessary. A drop of vinegar and a spoonful of dough replaces the fiat lux. Imagine the drop and spoon to be that much larger, and you have the world. Man is the eel. So where does the Eternal Father come in? My dear bishop, I find the Jehovah theory very tedious. It produces nothing but lean men with empty heads. I want none of the great all, which irritates me. I prefer the great nothing, which leaves me untroubled. Between ourselves, and talking candidly as though you were my confessor, I will declare to you that I am a man of plain sense. I am not in love with your Jesus, who went about preaching renunciation and self-sacrifice, a miser's advice to beggars. Renunciation for what reason? Sacrifice to what end? I have never heard of a wolf sacrificing itself for the good of another wolf. Let us stick to nature. We who are the top should have a higher philosophy. What is the use of being at the head of affairs if you see no further than the end of the next man's nose? Let us live happily. Life is all we have. That man has any future life, above or below or anywhere else, is something that I flatly disbelieve. You urge upon me the need for sacrifice and renunciation. I am to ponder my every action, rack my brains with the problems of good and evil, justice and injustice, fause and non-fause. Why? Because later I shall be called to account. And when? After my death. What fantasy! It will take a cunning judge to catch me after my death, a ghostly finger stirring a handful of dust. We must acknowledge the truth, we initiates who have peered under the skirts of Isis. There is neither good nor evil, but only growth. We must look for reality, discard all else, get to the bottom of things, mustn't we? We need to have a nose for truth, to burrow in the earth for it and seize hold of it. To do so is glorious. It is to grow strong and rejoice. I stand foursquare, my lord bishop. The immortality of man is a daydream, a soothing promise which you may believe if you choose. How pleasant to be Adam, to be pure spirit, an angel with blue wings on one's back. Was it not Tertullian who said that the blessed will travel from one star to another? Splendid. We are to be the grasshoppers of the firmament, and we are to see God. Well, what nonsense it all is. God is a grotesque humbug. I would not say that in print, mark you, but I will whisper it among friends over the wine. To renounce the things of this earth for paradise is to throw away the substance for the shadow. To be a dupe of the infinite, that doesn't suit me. I am nothing. I am Count Nothing, Senator. Do I exist before my birth? No. Shall I exist after my death? No. What am I but an organized handful of dust? What am I to do on earth? I have a choice. I can suffer or enjoy. Where will suffering end? In oblivion, and I shall have suffered. Where will enjoyment end? Also in oblivion, but I shall have enjoyed. I have made my choice. One can eat or be eaten, and I would sooner eat. It is better to be the teeth than the grass. That's the way I look at it. In the end, whatever you do, the grave is waiting. The Pantheon for some of us, the same limbo for us all. Finis. Total liquidation, the vanishing point. Death is dead, believe me. It makes me laugh, the idea that there may be someone waiting there with something to say to me. An old wives' tale, a boogeyman for the kids, Jehovah for grown men. No, our tomorrow is only darkness. Beyond the tomb lie equal limbos, and it makes no difference whether you are Sardanapalus or Vincent de Paul. That's the truth of it. The only thing to do is to live. Use yourself while you have yourself. I have my philosophy, Bishop, and my philosophers, but I do not let myself be fooled by make-believe. But that is not to say that there aren't some who need it. The poor, the underfed, the down-and-outs. We give them myths to feed on, fairy tales, the soul, immortality, paradise, the stars, and they swallow it. They butter their dry bread with it. The man who has nothing else has God. It's better than nothing, and I have no objection. But for myself, I stick to realism. God is for the masses. The bishop clapped his hands. An admirable discourse, he exclaimed. What a splendid thing that kind of materialism is. Not everyone can achieve it, but the man who has it can't be fooled. He isn't going to let himself be exiled like Cato, or stoned to death like Stephen, or burned alive like Joan of Arc. He has all the joys of irresponsibility, the feeling that he can encompass everything with an easy mind, places, sinecures, dignities, power however gained, profitable recantations, useful betrayals, comforting adjustments of conscience, and go to his grave having stomached them all. How pleasant for him! I am not rebuking you, Monsieur le Sénateur. I cannot refrain from congratulating you. As you say, you great men have your own philosophy, subtle, refined, accessible only to the rich, suited to all occasions, an admirable seasoning for the pleasures of life. It is a philosophy distilled from the depths by those who specialize in such matters. But you are a good-hearted man. You do not grudge the masses their belief in God, any more than you grudge them their goose stuffed with chestnuts, while you have your turkey and truffles.